Hello there and welcome to Technophile. Today I have with me the brand new ASUS Zenbook Pro 14 Duo laptop, which, as you guessed it, has two different displays on the same laptop. Wondering what that's used for? Keep watching the video. Now, I agree that all of us love to be surrounded by multiple screens and devices, but they're usually different ones: a smartphone, a laptop, and a tablet. But this specific laptop has two different displays and is primarily aimed at people who multitask a lot, especially with visual content throughout their day. So this is for those professionals who work a lot on content creation, work with photography, video editing, audio editing, and surprisingly might even interest those of you who track a lot of financial data or maybe the stock market on a day in, day out basis. We've been trying out this laptop for a couple of weeks now, and I'm gonna share some of the highlights of the product with you in this video. The first highlight of the laptop is undoubtedly the quality of its OLED screen, the primary screen, which is 14.5 inches diagonally. It's a stunner of a screen. ASUS has been doing a really good job hitting it out of the park with our OLED screens recently, and obviously on this laptop it's no different. It also has a refresh rate of up to 120 Hz and also gives you about 500 nits of brightness, which is very impressive. The visuals on it look great. If you use it for editing videos and photos, you'll have a fabulous time of it. It also comes Pantone validated, which means the colors are as accurate as they get on a system. And then we have the secondary screen, which is 12.8 inches across, and this is really sort of like the USP of the product, because you have the advantage of accessing other folders, browsers, apps on this little screen while you do your work or catch up on reading or editing on the main screen. What I found really impressive about what ASUS has done is they've actually incorporated some of the bigger impressive specs onto the smaller screen as well. So you do get again 120 Hz of refresh rates and 500 nits of brightness on the secondary screen as well. And overall the screens kind of offer so much real estate that if your work demands multiple screens, you would actually be able to optimize that usage on this particular laptop. Another thing that really comes across as impressive on this device is the quality of the sound from its speakers. It does come with Dolby Atmos support, and for a change it convinced me to sort of let go of my earphones, not plug them in, and actually just enjoy media, music, movies, streaming directly from the laptop speakers. So it's definitely a thumbs up for me with this device's audio quality. Now the hardware is pretty impressive and it's also pretty new, which means when I use it first, or if you decide to pick this up and use it, it is going to be a little bit of a learning curve. It's not a very difficult learning curve or a very long one, but it is definitely there. For starters, getting used to the layout itself, you have a trackpad not at the center bottom of the keyboard, but actually in just like one right hand side corner at the bottom, and that itself took me some time to get used to. Some of you might actually just want to discard using the trackpad and just go for a mouse instead to make it easier, because otherwise I kept hitting the space bar because that's where it is originally in all laptop devices. So little things like this, and also switching windows, switching content from the primary to the secondary screen and vice versa can take some getting used to. There are dedicated hardware buttons that help you switch content, but obviously you would want to make use of a touchscreen, and I wanted to do that. And sometimes the software optimization is such that the window that you're trying to sort of move from the primary screen to the secondary screen doesn't snap into place. So you have to sort of drag it, put it in place perfectly, resize it to the size that you want, stuff like that. I would have really preferred it if that was a more smooth, seamless experience where things just snap into place as you drag and drop. talking about how the software itself supports a secondary screen, which ASUS calls the ScreenPad Plus. You can customize everything independently for the smaller screen, including its brightness. There are these little features like task groups, which let you sort of very neatly organize a bunch of stuff that you might be using for, say, a video editing project, and then create another task group with its own set of folders you need to access, apps that you need to access as a completely separate task group, and you can kind of switch from this when you need it. So I do see ASUS trying to sort of have the software support the hardware they're offering quite well, and I do hope that it continues to evolve and continues to get better over time. Right now, again, it is a bit of a learning curve, but something once you have figured out and once you have gotten used to might end up being super useful to you. I have a bunch of other details about the tech specs, about the user experience, about the battery life, which are included in the full detailed review. Check that out in the description below. But now I wanted to show you only the highlights in the video and also tell you a bit about what my view of this laptop is overall. And the unit I used is with the higher end specs, and this is how much it costs. So it is pretty steep for a laptop. However, the range comes with lower end specs as well, which are good enough to do content creating jobs. If you are not very keen on investing in the super high end specs version, you have the options, and that range actually starts at this price. At this price point, the ASUS Zenbook Pro 14 Duo seems like a little bit of a splurge, but it doesn't have to be a mindless one. After all, it does pack in a really good OLED screen, a pretty great secondary display, a really good battery life by the way, and also a great set of speakers. Now, all you have to check is a laptop like this good enough to fit your creativity and professional needs, because this is not a laptop for general productivity or just media consumption. It is very much targeted at people who would use this to the maximum, optimize it for content creation, tracking data and stuff like that. So that's the one thing you'll need to check before you decide whether this is the perfect laptop for you. And don't forget to subscribe to Business Line for more such content, and a little reminder to check out the full review below.